I started a 3D printing hobby back in 2016, but I wouldn't say I got really interested in it until the start of 2020. It's been a really transformative thing for me. I have lots of ideas, just random things pop into my head all the time, and I think, that's kinda neat. But prior to getting into 3D printing, I never really made any of them. I guess I was never skilled enough in traditional tools and techniques to bring all of my designs to life how I envisioned them, and that was always kind of off-putting. 3D printing is still something that requires skill and learning. Printers have improved, but there's still a lot to learn. Initially, you will definitely have issues getting the machine to print anything at all. Stuff won't stick, or prints will fail, or just look like junk. But compared to something like woodworking, I found the instant results that you get once you get the damn machine finally working to be very gratifying. One of my main goals in this hobby is to not just print junk items. I think one of the biggest misconceptions about 3D printing is that that's all it's useful for. Statues and flower pots and other stuff like that. And prints like that still take skill to design, I'm not denying that. But I think the practical side of 3D printing is the much more exciting part. And in popular media, that's what we see the least of, which is disappointing. There's an infinite number of ways that 3D prints can be practical or functional. Just look on any 3D printing file website and you'll find endless tools and gadgets for pretty much every niche available. It's these niche tools and products where 3D printing really shines. Stuff that isn't popular enough to warrant mass manufacturing. A lot of people have no idea where the stuff they consume comes from or the costs behind it. This plastic compass, for example, probably only cost a few cents to make in an injection mold, but the initial machining costs for that mold would probably have been in the tens of thousands. Niche items won't be able to make back that upfront investment, so 3D printing smaller numbers of them is a viable alternative. To touch on my own work as another example, I've recently been working on 3D printed machine tools. These tools are pretty expensive to buy, and while my 3D printed versions are less fully featured than the real deal, they can still do a lot for a fraction of the cost. To use my mill as an example, it costs around $50 to make one. The cheapest mill you can get new is around $300 and has pretty similar functionality. If you only need to use a mill for a few small parts, then it's pretty hard to justify $300. So that's my story so far, and a few examples of how 3D printing is more than just trinkets. If you have great ideas but struggle to get them into the real world, then maybe consider trying it. It's been game changing for me.